If you're like me, you probably saw the teaser for this and thought, alright, it's another Wicked-inspired Disney attempt at turning a famous villainess and turning her into a sympathetic hero. Yeah, that's pretty much what they did, but compared to a movie like Maleficent, this was at least more entertaining. Alright, for those of you who don't know, Cruella de Vil is a famous movie villain from the animated Disney movie 101 Dalmatians, which was originally based on a book of the same name, and later on got readapted to a live-action movie starring Glenn Close. And so, just to shoo away expectations here, this is not so much a prequel or even really connected to the original source material. This is a complete rewrite of a famous character to basically tell a different story. Alright, so the story is we have a little girl named Estella, who's a supposedly smart and aggressive little girl, but who loves her mother dearly. But unfortunately, when her mother goes to try to get some financial help, 3 Dalmatians attack her and send her over a cliff to her death. And now that Estella is an orphan wandering in London, she happens upon 2 thieving boys named Jasper and Horace. They live together and grow up together, and now a grown-up Estella, played by Emma Thompson, has always dreamt of working in the fashion industry. So she works in a store where she gets to show off her costuming skills and gets noticed by the Baroness, played by Emma Thompson. And right away, you might find that the Baroness seems to really be the actual Cruella. She's evil, she's despicable, she's selfish, she's really into fashion, everything belongs to her. She's willing to do bad things. Which makes her main character kind of a Cruella in training, but we'll get to that in a second. Because what the story winds up being is this rivalry between Cruella and the Baroness, where the Cruella is more of a secret identity of sorts. So it becomes this vicious competition between the 2 women, showing off a lot of legitimate good fashion and some really entertaining scenes. There's even a couple of really clever scenes, one of them being a surprise about a dress which I dare not spoil for you, but those who've seen the film will know exactly what I mean. Now, as for Jasper and Horace, played by Joel Fry and Paul Walter Hauser, respectively, do a pretty good job at supporting roles. I can't really say if they really connect to their previous counterparts, but Jasper's more of the heart of the group, who's always looking out for everybody, and Horace is just your lovable comic relief. And honestly, there is sort of a nice family dynamic going on between the 3 characters. They even go out of their way to make a point of it. Which is strange compared to how they used to just be her henchmen in previous installments, but I guess this is pretty nice too. And so they established the story during the 1960s, which seems pretty clear at times, but later on we see a lot of technology being used in these fashion shows that seem much more modern. So it's a little bit jarring to kind of figure out when we are, and it kind of messes with the vision of the story a little bit. So on one hand, as much as I enjoyed this film, the one thing that did bother me though is that they're changing up the character so much that she's no longer really this bad guy. But strangely enough, at the end of the movie, they're still trying to tie in the bad guy vibes. For example, we still hear the classic theme,
Cruella de Vil, if she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will.
Which doesn't really make any sense anymore because she's not really this scary person anymore. The same thing, they make a big deal of her adopting the name DeVille, which Horace makes a big deal saying, oh, it looks like devil, but it's not pronounced devil. And she still has the Hell Hall. All these details insinuating that she's still the bad guy. But it makes no sense because they wrote that out of her. So the ending doesn't really match up anymore. I mean, my only theory was that it's sort of like her fashion industry persona, that she's kind of like this bad one, you know? And that's the only thing that kind of works, but even then, that's a bit of a reach. I also have to give props to a new character, Artie, played by John McCree, because he is just fabulous. Honestly, he does add a lot of joy to the film. And there's another callback from the original movie, Anita.
Anita, darling!
Played by Kirby Howell-Baptiste, who's pretty much more of a news reporter who serves a role in helping propel Cruella's notoriety. So I guess the last real point I want to make is this feeling like there's a feminist message that's being pushed with these kinds of movies. It's like, okay, I understand what they're trying to do. You have this famous female character, she's seen as this bad guy, but what's really her story? Especially since we have a history of women not having their story being told, it kind of begs the question, alright, what's really going on underneath? And so I understand why they're taking like the Wicked Witch of the West and trying to say, oh, there was a lot more going on with this character and there's a bit of a misunderstanding. It didn't really work with Maleficent because she was such a clear antagonist that it was distracting to see her as this totally other character. And Cruella, it's kind of the same deal. In this case, she actually loves dogs in this movie. She has a dog sidekick during the entire picture. But I can't help but feel like, wouldn't the stronger feminist message be women are as smart as men, women are as strong as men, women can be as evil as men? Because look, we have so many bad guys in film history, or just history in general, and there's some we just love to hate. Why can't women have the same thing? That a woman can be bad and we love her for that reason? That we can love to hate her? I feel like these movies are kind of snatching that away from us. And the thing is, we love our antagonists. Let us have fun. And women can be interesting antagonists. This is the one thing that does irritate me about this trend. And I'm really hoping it kind of dies down at some point, because I really think it's kind of having an opposite effect of that proposed feminist message. Like I said, if you can take away that legacy of 101 Dalmatians and what the antagonist was in the past, this is actually an enjoyable movie. There's some really clever moments, there's some really funny moments too, and it's still pretty emotional. But the fact they keep trying to make nods back to the original source material, it just seems kind of foolish. So with that said, the movie does get my score of 2.5 stars. Guys, thanks as always for watching. Have you all seen Cruella? If not, what else have you been watching lately? Comment below, let me know, and stay tuned right here if you all want to see more.